Hey y'all, guess what time it is? It's the Grolic Saves the World time.
All right, the Grolic saves the world.
That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. While the Grolic saves the world. We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. While the Grolic saves the world. We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. While the Grolic saves the world.
Hello and welcome back to the Grolic Saves the World, episode 2000 from Quar Quar. We are in full quarantine, still podcasting through end times as if it matters. Welcome to it. I'm Adam Caton Holland.
My name is Ben Roy.
And I'm Andrew Orvidal.
Anywho, welcome back. What a weird time.
Here we
What a
are.
crazy time. We're all
Good to
living through.
see you as little boxes on my TV. You've ceased to be real people. You're just channels
Yeah.
I tune into.
Yeah, we can only see each other on the computer.
I'm not even here. This is CGI. I got Andy Serkis to do some mocap for me, and I'm out of the park throwing a frisbee right now. But
Tell
I've
you
got
what,
this.
I'm entertained as if it was you.
You
You're
think
doing a
we'd
great
believe?
job.
You think we'd believe that you can throw a frisbee, Andrew? You think we're that fucking?
I'm
stupid?
actually really good at throwing a frisbee. Of all of the incredibly short list of my physical gifts, frisbee's on there. We'll have to play sometime.
Can you do the wrist flick?
I
Not
can,
the-
but I don't
the
prefer
backhand,
it.
the
Not-
wrist
like ultimate players
the
use.
ultimate, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't prefer that. I prefer just a good old
You don't want
regular
to show
toss.
off in the park.
Yeah.
I don't want to just people think I'm
Yeah.
playing fast and loose out there. I play conservative.
Also, I'm
games.
definitely not as good. I'm definitely not as good with the wrist flick. I'm pretty good though, standard.
We should toss the B when we can trade germs back and
Toss
forth via plastic.
the bee.
It's you shorten it to frizz. That's the only acceptable abbreviation.
Bro, you don't want to toss the B?
A B could be anything. A B
Yeah.
is the first letter of ball. It could be anything.
It could also be me. My name is Ben, and you guys could
Let's toss the bin.
Let's-
Look, we're not endurance athletes. Jesus, how?
We all know where this toss the Ben joke is going to go.
Listen,
so let's
you
be
don't
better than
Yeah,
it.
why don't you? No,
Let's
Ben.
be
Why don't you
better
just
than it.
Ben? Why don't you just immediately drive there? Why
I'm
why
asking
drive through
if
the
you guys
neighborhood?
Want to lick my rectum?
Okay, and I thought I was just hoping
I
that
didn't
on this
think
podcast
that was that obvious.
that we could
Ben's
be a little
batting
better.
average is
Oh my God.
Jesus, the Miguel Cabrera of butthole jokes over here. Jesus Christ.
Melky? You mean Melky? Anywho, what a good time getting out. Well, I'm glad you're getting outdoors, CGI, Andrew. I think it's important during these times to do that. What have you been doing, Adam, to kind of try to take care of yourself during all of
Nothing. I burn it to the ground. Fuck it. I'm not mentally well. The world's not well. I got no
Adam,
hope.
that's not what this podcast is
Oh,
about.
sorry.
It's
Oh,
the
I've been
Grolix
exercising.
burns the world.
I've been exercising, and that's fixing everything. Everything's great.
No, but what have you not been doing? Like, what are you doing to try to keep yourself during this? I mean, prior to everything completely.
Well, Adam's lucky. He gets to drink, so he gets to take his magic juice at night that fucking
No, I don't.
watercolors the day, and he can just forget. Man, what I wouldn't do
Wow.
to just get blasted, just get so fucked up that I don't even know what day it is and
Listen.
lay face down in the grass. Oh, nice.
Let's toss the bee. Then you come over for a safe distance hang in my backyard, and we get after it,
this
buddy.
devil on my shoulder. You
gives
bring a
shit?
few room temperature
Adam, why
white
don't-
wines out.
Why don't you ever talk to me like that? Why don't you
Rome
ever
is,
ask?
Ben, stay out of this. Rome is burning, Andrew, and I've got all the wine in the city. Get over here.
So you've been drinking, Adam. That's
All right, I'm gonna get my 12-gram frisbee, and I'll see you tonight.
Everyone.
I've been
knows
good. Compared to a lot of people, I drink on the weekends. I try to still maintain. Friday and Saturday, I get rip roaring. But then the rest of the week, I just chill.
Do you find like?
But what
I
he's
like-
not telling us is that in this new world, every day is Friday and Saturday. So
No, I have not wanted to descend into just alcoholism. But
Do you
I
find like when I used to drink when Milo was really little? Of course, I was a lot younger. I was really little myself. But I found
I remember
that
Little Ben.
yeah, I remember little drinking Ben.
but I remember I used to get so lovey-dovey with my son. Like when I was like, I'd be like, "Come on, bud, yeah, dads, I'm gonna give you a hug. I'll always be there for you, kid.
I'm sure I would, but no, it's like after he goes down for the night, I have drinks. I don't. drink
After he
around
goes
him.
down for the night, Daddy goes down for the night. Do you go to the basement still and watch those 90s videos?
You know how I do.
It's a man cave. You can call it. I know you're a learned man, but you got to call a spade a spade. It's a man cave.
I call it La Cueva du Hombres.
Well, that's good that you've been drinking.
So
on the weekend.
exercising, drinking on the weekends, counting the days till I can get back out there and live a normal life again. But I don't think that's going to happen. So just cautiously preparing for the
Same.
worst.
How about you, Ben?
I've been reading a lot more, and I've been trying to finish books at a regular clip. And
Yeah, you're reading a book a week, right?
Yeah, and then I've been
Nice.
trying to get to 2 a week, and then like just same working out. I've been trying to cook. You know, like I like that baking challenge.
Oh, here we go. I knew he'd fit it into a future
I think
episode.
I
You
found
piece of
something
shit.
within myself that was waiting to come out was this baking champion, and I found that. I've got Cake Bitch tattooed on me now.
Do you? Cake Boss, Cake Bitch.
Yeah,
What's tattooed on you?
both of them.
Cake Bitch. Well, the
Is
cakes
it-
are in a cross,
Yeah.
and then bitch goes right down the
So
center.
nice. Cake boss bitch. Cake boss bitch.
Cake Boss, Cake Bitch.
To
Or
our
Cake Bitch
listeners,
Boss.
we are setting up a crowdfunding for Ben's new tattoo, Cake Boss, Cake Bitch.
Dude, I
Which he
tell
will 100% get on his
I
body.
will 100% get Cake Boss, Cake Bitch.
He doesn't even need the GoFundMe.
Yeah, I've been just looking. for
He only needs like 3 strangers on the internet to suggest that they would like to see it.
I've got some real estate. Yeah, it's been-
Armpit, right in the old armpit.
I've got it's. I've been trying to learn to do things that I hadn't really done a ton of before. So I'm doing some
Like reading?
yeah, and kickboxing.
Sorry. Hey.
Yeah, I put it up on the tee. I can't blame you for stepping up and taking a whack at it. So what about you, Andrew? I know what you've been doing. Adam and I know what you've been doing.
What have I been doing?
Well,
You've been doing Dungeons and Dragons non-fucking stop.
I mean, an absurd
I
amount
have.
of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot. I launched a streaming Dungeons and Dragons show. Thanks for setting me up for this plug, guys. It feels organic.
No, this is an intervention, dude. This is not a plug at all. For those of you that don't know and don't follow Andrew outside of the Grawlix Saves World, Andrew currently is the host of 71 different Dungeons and Dragons live Twitch shows and podcasts. And every day he adds new ones. He's got one that's 30 seconds. He's got ones that's 11 hours. Andrew's the king of D&D
And
online
every single one
content.
of them has the word heroes in the title
I'm
because
going
he's
after Joe
forgot
Manganiello.
What a real hero is.
No, I'm sorry
Yeah.
to speak for you, Andrew. Tell our listeners what you've been
No,
doing.
that's pretty much it. I mean, jokes aside, the information is there.
Yeah, you do a lot of.
Yeah, I've got a streaming Dungeons and Dragons show I do with some comedians that we just recently launched called Better Than Heroes. You can check it out on Twitch Monday nights. And then I have another Dungeons and Dragons podcast that we stream as a show called The Dungeon, where me and my co-host, we chat with people who run role-playing games. And I have the new role-playing game based on the movie Alien that I'm launching with some great people. That's going to be a streaming show also.
Yeah,
So
for
pretty
people
busy.
Who aren't
So-
familiar? Andrew makes games. You design games, right?
Well, I don't have any games out, so no, I don't. I design games in my house that I would like to release one day, but
yeah,
no, I don't have
I mean,
any.
you do it on your own. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if just because I say I like gardening doesn't mean that I own a nursery. I mean, you know what I
Hey,
mean?
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
No, Andrew's brain likes to form these worlds and like play these role-playing games and create a big elaborate universes.
Well, I wasn't allowed to play as a kid. I was not allowed to play any tabletop role-playing games, especially Dungeons and Dragons, because my parents thought
Wanted you to have sex.
it would. You know, it was teed up there. I
Shaka chill.
He's down. He's down. Off the turnbuckle. No, they bought into the hysteria that it would make me worship Satan or harm myself. So I was not allowed to play. And I would sit in the game store at the mall. It's Your Move. And I would read the role-playing game books. And I'd be like, man, this looks so cool. And I was not allowed to play. So now as an adult, having like rediscovered it, I'm like, this rules. It's so fun. I run games with my daughter. It's been a great
game store by day, singles club by night. It's Your Move.
Yep.
The hardest part was getting into that mall at night. You had to know the exact right door.
Yep. That was a big Pound Puppies site back in the day.
I think I've been to several adult parties at It's Your Move. What a dumb name for a game store.
No, it's a great. As a game store, it's a pretty good name.
It's Your Move. You used to honestly go and like look at all the books and everything.
Yeah, I
like
just
that?
sit on the floor, and the employees probably hated me. I just sit there and I just read through the books. Like, this looks so great, but yeah, I wasn't allowed to play.
And so now you're just games. And so as an adult, you're just
making
doing
up for lost time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam,
And this is the perfect. I mean, it's great because it's like a social activity. I hang out with my friends for a few hours, and it doesn't feel artificial like a Zoom happy hour where we're all sitting there like, yeah, this is a social hangout.
It feels completely real, like you guys inhabiting another character and traversing through a made-up world.
Yeah, but your
Not
mind
like
once you're embracing the fun and the role playing of it, you're just there. You know, the time flies by. You're having fun. It's this fun social time, and you get to be creative and stuff.
I did a Zoom call with some friends, and we played games. Like they had various games, and there was more fun because you're right. Those Zoom.
Oh, like
calls
the
are so
Jackbox thing or something.
Yeah, Karen Wachtel had a number of games, and like Katie and a few other friends hopped on, and I was just sort of chiming in. It was way more fun than a Zoom call.
But did you ever play, Adam, you grew up in a household full of liberal Satanists. Did you ever play Dungeons and Dragons? I mean, they didn't even keep doors on the house. It was, just let the kids freely roam the neighborhood.
Yeah, no, it's pretty feral. I'd never played Dungeons and Dragons. And truthfully, I've never played board games. And I don't like Katie likes nothing more than playing board games and just having a night of games. And that's like what her family did. And I just I fucking hate that idea.
I hate board.
I don't like, it feels like forced fun time on PBS or something.
I
like
fucking
I
hate
can't.
board games.
Yeah,
that's
I
because
hate
y'all
board
are playing
games.
the wrong board games. Come over here.
It's fucking.
So
I've got some
no.
games.
Being forced to sit down and like hang out and like my wife and her family love games. They love playing games. They'll get together. They'll play game after game. What game are we playing next? How about the game where we all go to separate rooms and read for a little while? I like that.
Or how about the game where we chat without playing like children?
Yeah. It's
You
funny.
two sound so cool right now.
No, I feel bad for Katie because sometimes we'll play like categories. I'm like, that was fun. And she's like, I like to do this, but it's not how I'm wired. And I never did it growing up. And I'm not really a fan of it.
Yeah, well, growing up, like my family, we had game night. We played board games. We played Life and Sorry, and like they had the junior version of Trivial Pursuit that we could play when we were kids, and like we used to. That my dad would decimate us on. By the way, my dad was like, "Oh, junior Trivial Pursuit," but no let up on the gas pedal. He would just beat the shit out of us trivia wise. And I think because my dad was like,
Who does that remind me of? Adam?
That's like when you catch a fucking college Jeopardy and you're like, okay, let's fucking go USC, and you just level the fucking place. Oh, buddy, college Jeopardy, what a cakewalk.
I grew up in a religious family, but not like Andrew. I grew up in a Catholic family, so we believed that you could be terrible. You just had to apologize for it at some point later on. And so my parents just...
Or as my mother would call you, a Mary worshiper. So no big deal.
Wow. Wow.
That's the best name ever.
Mary worshippers. That's
These
amazing.
goddamn Mary worshippers. While I was growing up, we played Dungeons and Dragons in middle school, especially constantly. I mean, I remember my buddy Ron lived up the street. He had done that thing, like every so often some teenage kid would go through that phase where they wanted to live in the basement of the house.
Sure.
And he did that. And then you realize living in the basement is just the most moist place in the house. And everything's kind of always wet. And
Black mold and dryer lint, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And he did that. And we would just sit in this basement. We sat like 28 hours straight one time playing a campaign. We would smoke jarms because we smoked clove cigarettes. And we would just sit and play Dungeons and Dragons for hours. We would get so lost in playing that I think that that's part of the reason why as an adult I don't know that I could play is because it is such a time consuming game. Like probably one of the most, with the exception, there are very few games. Risk is one of them, but like that game, Dungeons and Dragons, takes hours even to play a short campaign. Like how long what's the longest you've played recently?
The longest I've run a game is 9 hours. We played 9 once, but it flew right by. And it was like
Adam, that noise that came out of you was
That sounds so awful. Like there's so many things you could do in those 9 hours.
like what?
that are cooler than traveling to another realm, dude.
Yard work, masturbate, pay bills,
Dude,
more
so-
yard work,
So cool.
hang out with your son, bird watch, throw a ball against the wall, clean your fucking car, masturbate.
That was eerily too accurate.
Yeah.
It was like
So you've got that. You haven't got that chronic masturbation thing under control.
I'm only at hour 5, dudes. Go to the park. No, just kidding.
Masturbate.
It's a very long time to be playing a fucking game. That's what I'm saying. That's a double header of baseball.
But that's rare. Yeah, 9 hours is not the norm.
But
But yeah,
half of that is
four
not
4
rare.
hours. Yeah, very common. 4 hours,
Very
5 hours.
common to spend 4
Definitely.
or 5 hours.
I just maybe I'm ADD. If I see a movie and it's like 3 hours, I'm like, fuck you. Like I don't want to watch a 3-hour movie.
No, I feel that. I feel the same way with movies too. But there's something about this when you're caught up in the moment. If you're having fun and you're like on board with it, no one who's ever like on board for it has ever complained like that was too long. Only people that are like resistant to it and like are definitely not like jumping in on the fun of it. Kind of like realize how long.
Now,
it's
as
taking.
an adult, being that you're all adults playing this game, do you all do voices?
That's
Do you
the
all
nicest thing you've
inhabit-
said to me.
Being that you're all sub-adults, do you all now? Do you?
Yeah,
do you
that's
do
kind of like a
voices?
next level. Most D&D players, when they start, they don't do a voice. They'll speak of the character. They'll be like, "I say this, I do this." But then after an amount of time, you either like swim over or you cannonball into the deep end of this nerd shit, and you're like, "I'm doing a fucking voice. I don't care how silly it is."
Give me a voice.
I'm gonna
of
do a
character
character
that
voice.
you play with right now. Let me hear your character.
Well, no, you could. You can hear it on Better Than Heroes. I play
I'm
a character
I'm
who has
never going
2
to watch
voices. Then I'm not going to do the voice for you, you fucking peeping Tom.
No, come on. I'm never going to
There's-
go to a strip club. Come to my house and do the dance for me. so are you
Yeah, I'll
like,
do.
I will enter the realm and touch. Is that how you do it, or is it like, hey, get the fuck out of here? Like,
I don't like the anachronistic voices, but some people like that where they'll do like a cowboy voice, like, "Hey, yo, how's it going?" And I'm like, why is there like a cowboy in this world? And same with the New York voice. That's not my style, but that is definitely
Yeah.
popular with people, and that's fine. If that's what you're into. I don't judge people on their D&D voices.
So
All
what?
right. Well, I feel like we're narrowing in on what might be the challenge that I'm least excited about. I think these are just getting. It's like, hey, Adam,
Yes.
why don't you do musical theater for a week? Okay, this is really going to be another great
but
challenge.
musical theater does make you better. It
And
does.
that
Oh my God.
might be
It
coming
does.
up now that you mentioned it.
And
Yeah,
I can't wait to show my sides. I've loved. Yeah, but anyway, so Adam,
Jesus
you've
Christ.
never played D&D, not once.
No.
No
And I
clue.
don't hate it. It's fine.
He
It's
hates
just,
it.
I know it's not for me, and like I just don't understand why this podcast is constantly morphing into things
That aren't
It's like-
you?
Hey, you spent 40 years on the planet figuring out what you kind of are into. Do the things you're not into. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
I think
It's broadening your perspective. Ben knows that it's fun because he did it as a kid.
It
He
is-
can't deny that
it
it's
is
fun.
You get lost in, and I think it's-
Macross the Mage, it even sounds cool.
Yeah, how did you remember that?
How would I forget it?
Uh,
That
That's
was
the
Ben's
only
character?
detail about your life that I remember. I can't
Okay.
even tell you your son's name.
I don't mean to be a spoil sport, so I will stop being one. How is this making the world better? How's this make us better?
well, one, it
Well-
improves your imagination. It really it's good for the imagination. It's also, I would argue with Andrew that it is a good social activity. It is one where you forget where you're at, you forget everything around you, and you become completely immersed in the story, but with friends. It's like, to me, it
Sounds like drinking.
it's
Immersed in the
No.
fantasy. You know what? We are all kind of still good looking
You know
now
what?
that
I
I'm.
think I did just pass 10 years of sobriety, but you make a good point,
Yeah.
Adam.
Fuck yeah, that would be a good screenplay. Let's write it, dude.
It is
Boo.
just a fantasy.
Booze.
no,
D&D in a bottle.
So I feel like I already have my D&D pretty well set.
I've met some ogres. I've met some.
Drinking. Oh, D&D, you mean drinking and drinking? As your liver crawls out of your butt and
Yep.
across the yard.
What the fuck was that?
Oh, is that a D&D character? What would the voice of that be, Andrew?
Help me. Help me.
The thing is I got to imagine it's going to be funny to do this with Andrew because Andrew's voices kill me. They
Me
make
too.
laugh.
Me fucking too,
They
for
make
sure.
me laugh so much. Remember his voice for the little gnome that comes out when the train arrives at DIA. The little
Oh,
gnome.
yeah.
A train is approaching. It used to crack me up. So what are you proposing here, Andrew?
So I'm proposing, here's the challenge, and I'll tell you why I think it would be good. Ben already said it very well, but I propose that not only do we play a brief one-shot Dungeons & Dragons game, I'm not going to make you play a whole fucking campaign. We can organize a relatively succinct Dungeons & Dragons game.
Thank
But
you.
the challenge is not just you sitting in on the game and cracking jokes and being cynical and doing that jack-off hand gesture every time someone speaks. The challenge is for you to actually cannonball in to the deep end of this cold pool and do a voice. Don't be cynical. Don't break the fourth wall. Don't make anachronistic jokes, and actually give it that. And it's outside your comfort zone. It's outside every comfort zone. You sit there and you're like, this is some dense nerd shit. And what I hypothesize, and we'll check in at the end of the show, is at the end you will actually have a good time. It might still not be for you, but I think they'd be like, that was a good exercise for my brain. I improvised shit. I collaborated with other people. I solved problems. I was creative. I had to think on my feet outside my comfort zone. All of those skills.
Exactly like drinking. I see it, Adam. I see it now. It is drinking.
No, I am willing. I am willing to give it a try. Honestly, it's like we did jujitsu. That's Ben's passion project. This is Andrew's. Andrew's super into D&D.
And we've all
I-
masturbated, which is yours. So
Which is-
this-
and-
we're on the
so-
third one.
But not the same way I do it.
We'll get to that. No, I think
No,
it's
I've created numerous projects with Andrew and TV shows, and I enjoy being funny and creative with Andrew. So it'll be fun to see this side of his
we'll
creative
have
brain.
we'll have to adopt a penalty for if we lose character. Because that is
So, look, I guess we'll come back and I'll have learned everything because I know nothing. I got to invent a character out of the ether. Or
No,
there's,
I'll
like,
help you.
types
I'll
that
help
they
you
can
make a
be.
character. Yeah, it's not that imaginative. There's rules. You pick a race, you pick a class, and then I
Okay.
can walk you through all that.
I'm thinking like a guy named Aaron who's cynical and kind of hates this world that he's inhabiting. What do you guys? What do you think of that character?
and his dad is Jewish, but his mom is from the South.
Yeah. So he gets both perspectives. Yeah, yeah.
The saddest.
Adam just turns this
character
into his
creation
8
ever.
Mile.
Yeah,
That's all
totally.
this
Like-
is.
I'm going to show up for this and lose myself in the moment. The moment I own it, you better grab it, never let it go.
He did it. He did it. He seamlessly worked in an 8 Mile.
So yeah,
You only get one shot at D&D. Do not miss your chance to blow.
All right. So what we'll do is we're going to play a succinct D&D campaign.
Oh yeah, we'll see how fucking succinct.
and by succinct, we're talking for 5.5 hours. But
And we have to stay in character. If we don't, there will be some punishment. If we don't,
I mean, it's one thing to break character voice and still be in it, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, if we
you don't
become
ha-
assholes.
yeah,
No. I understand what you're saying. Like inhabit the character. Don't just fucking.
Like
yeah.
if
I'm not saying
like-
you have to
And-
use
and I
that
will.
special
I will.
voice the whole time.
I know I'm being the cynic. but
Like
I will,
if
I
I'm
will
like
do this the best I
Caldor,
can.
my half.
Ben
my
already
half,
has his name. See, Ben is so far ahead of the game.
half my-
Caldor.
half
Caldor,
human-
take
my-
me away.
my first level elven mage decides to butt chug a bunch of Everclear to get out of this obnoxious game.
Wait, this is
Yeah.
sounding more and more fun all the time.
So why don't we do this?
See, here's the
Why-
correction there, Ben. Butt chug a liter of mead. How about that? Why don't you at least get rid of the anachronism? You can still butt chug all you want.
All right, so why don't we?
You can just put like a drinking horn in your butt.
No, I want to use a hearing horn. It's smaller.
Oh, a tin horn.
That should be the slogan for one of your shows. Get rid of the anachronism. You can butt chug all you want.
Adam looks so mad and sad.
I'm excited.
Sad pirates.
Won't I cease knocking on my door and leave me be?
This voice actually rules.
Just leave me to my books and things. Go explore. You can explore together without me.
Okay, so we do need to think of a punishment, a tangible punishment, not just the idea of a punishment. How about this? If you are found to be violating the rules that we set up, if you are breaking the fourth wall, if you are mocking the experience, when we come back and we do the recap, you will do so in your character's voice
No.
for a certain amount of time, like a penalty box.
Oh God.
Assistant Wizard Ron will, he'll have like a penalty box timer, and you'll be speaking in that voice for every infraction. Every infraction, we will tally them up.
Okay. Well, tune ye in to the second half, where I will sound like this. For I hate this challenge and the worlds that it inhabits and embodies.
Okay.
You sound like the Lucky Charms, dude.
I'm finding my
But
book.
you've been
All
taping.
grown up.
Anyway,
Oh,
why don't we do
shit.
this? Why don't
I'm
we?
finding my voice.
Why don't we take a quick break?
Yeah, a break's a great idea.
We'll take a quick break. Let's listen to some comedy. This is Denver's own Patrick Richardson. And then through the magic of podcasting, when we return, we will have played a D&D campaign, and I think it will be abundantly clear almost immediately
Who
somebody
has
didn't
failed.
keep their promise. So go ahead. We're going to go take a
You
break.
never know. You never know.
We're going to take a break. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Shit.
Me and my girlfriend have been sexting, which I was really nervous about at first because I didn't think I was going to be good at sexting. But then I realized I don't have to stick to my real life repertoire when I'm sexting, you know? I could do anything when I'm sexting. I could be anyone when I'm sexting. Needless to say, I've been sexting my girlfriend as a frog. What if that was just the whole joke? Let's just where it ended. All right, thank you guys. That's my big closer. No, I've been sexting my girlfriend as a frog, and I'll sext her things like, I pull you in close, my stout, tailless body glistens with glandular secretions. My bulging eyes beckon you as I whisper under my breath, I'm gonna give you warts. She hates it. She's like, why are you sexting me as the president right now? And in response, she's been sexting me as a minotaur. The logical next step. So I think we might just switch to Dungeons and Dragons instead.
Get out of the trenches of tedious tasks like managing order fulfillment and start growing your business with ShipStation. They'll help increase profitability by automating your workflow with their simple, easy-to-use dashboard. With it, you can pretty much do everything you need to quickly and easily. Update order information, print labels, compare rates, optimize shipments, and even set up automatic delivery notifications. And it doesn't matter where you sell. Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, ShipStation can integrate pretty much anywhere online. Another great thing about ShipStation? They can help reduce costs with industry-leading discounted rates from some of the biggest mail carriers. You might even be able to get up to 89% off USPS and UPS rates. So, make this year your most profitable one yet. Sign up for your free 30-day trial at ShipStation.com and use the code Spotify. That's ShipStation.com with the code Spotify.
And we're back. And thanks to the dark magics of podcasting, it's been a while. We played Dungeons and Dragons.
Boy, we
the
sure
three of
did.
us. Don't say it like you didn't have a good time. First of all, I'll just say disclaimer right up front. Adam and Ben, hats off to you. You guys crushed the challenge. I was pretty dubious based on some of your texts before we played. Adam especially, who was like, I think at one point he said, I'm going to be a poor sport about all of this.
I was a real
Who
negative
announces
Nancy this
who
episode.
announces their poor sportsmanship?
I apologize. Dude, all day long I was dreading it, and I was like bitching to Katie. I was like, I've never wanted to do anything less than what I'm about to do. Like, I enjoy hanging out with Andrew and Ben, so it'll be fun because those guys are funny, but fuck, I did not want to do it. But I loved it. I was surprised.
You guys showed up. Nobody gets punished. It was great. It was.
I know.
Fun, it was a very fun game.
I will say it's kind of negative because we were really I was hoping that Adam would break the fourth wall down totally, and we'd have to hear his voice because his voice was amazing. It was completely.
So why don't we say for our listeners, we will have the whole game. We recorded the whole game, so that will go up for
fucking
Patreon
19
people.
hours of content.
It just got out of control. It was a 19-hour game. You know, we were peeing in bottles, but it's about 3.5 hours. It was a good one shot. It was a good game. So if you want to watch that, we'll post that. But why don't we go around and tell our listeners the character that we created for ourselves? Give a snapshot. Give a snapshot.
Okay,
I'll go first. I created a character named Peregrine Soccer Hooligan, but he just goes by Peregrine, and he was a Rakara, which is like a bird man badass, and he was like a hunter, Andrew, or no, he was a warrior,
Ranger.
right?
He was a ranger.
Yes.
But he had to serve as our tank because we didn't have a tank, so he was a ranger. But yeah, he had to do a lot of the main fighting.
So that was Peregrine. And I'll just give him a little bit of taste. Peregrine, he's like from a Guy Ritchie film. He spoke like this, but his accent could wander into Irish, perhaps. He has no idea what UK accent he's channeling and when, much to the confusion and frustration of the other players.
It was great. Yeah, he was cool. I played an old lady changeling named Gwendolyn Thunderhand. She was a storm sorcerer. And she talked like an old
no,
lady,
she did
and
not
moved
work
like
in a
an
rub and
old
tug.
lady.
Like I know a lot of you are thinking old Thunderhand didn't work in a rub and tug.
We should tell our listeners Andrew's friend Harlan was the DM, and Harlan's like so good at doing this, and Andrew's buddies with them, and they run all other sorts of D&D games together. But Andrew was so embarrassed because he said Thunderhand, and immediately Ben and I go right to dick joke land. And Andrew gave us this like stern, like, not in front of Harlan. He does not joke this way. And we were like, oh, okay, our mistake. We were going right to hand job Thunderhand.
You're going to call a character Thunderhand. and
No,
you're
what
gonna
I was
think I'm not
thinking,
gonna
I was
say it.
like, this could be a strike, but we were in kind of an intro phase, so those jokes flew by.
Hey, listen, I know that handy jokes are cumin. You've got to use it very sparingly. It doesn't take a lot, or it can overspice. It can overspice the paneer, and you
Yeah.
can't do that.
You're,
But anyway, what was your
you're
voice?
truly a chef.
I
Truly a
talked
chef.
over your voice.
She had an old lady like this, and she was just sort of being made fun of consistently by her younger companions.
My character is it a tabaxi? Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a tabaxi. He is half cat. He's like a humanoid cat thing. And his name was Bing Bong. And he would say Bing Bong at the end of everything. So he would talk like this. Bing Bong. I've stabbed you. Bing Bong. That's how he talked, which you'd think would get annoying, but you'd be right. So it was, it was pretty,
Bing Bong grew on me. Bing Bong did grow on me and he was a bard.
Yeah, he was a bard, and he sings. So he sings, and he's very agile and very charismatic. And he wore a little vest and tiny little pants.
You know what I did? I totally didn't realize till after we got done playing but Bing Bong is a character in the Pixar movie Inside Out. That
Ben,
elephant-looking
you
thing.
fucking
You
thief.
uncreative,
You-
plagiarizing
wow.
piece of
You think I've seen
garbage.
Inside Out? I don't even know what one is that?
Oh,
What
Inside
movie?
Out's amazing. You should
You've
see it. It'll make
seen
you
it.
cry.
I'm just-
It's so
Which
good.
one is it?
But it's the one about the emotions in the girl's head.
No, I didn't watch that. Did the elephant go, Bing Bong, I've stabbed you? Like that? Did the elephant do that in the movie? Okay, well, then I didn't
No,
steal it.
he's a
So
very
you
sad
can go and
character.
fuck
Yeah.
right off.
I didn't know we could steal. I would like to go back and be a character named Aladdin. He's a prince. Or he's a peasant, but he wants to marry the princess, and he has a genie friend.
Okay.
Do one of you want to kind of summarize what we were tasked with doing?
Well, Harlan brought a challenge that immediately went right to my heart because I was an Arakra, a fucking
Or is it an
whatever.
It's an
the fuck
Aarakocra,
it is.
yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
studly bird that's like man-sized badass bird. Harlan informs us that a bunch of Arakra, how do you say it?
Aarakocra.
Aarakocra fledglings have been fucking kidnapped by a fucking one of those fucking druids.
Oh,
You know
Adam,
those-
you
you
don't
know-
have to whisper
One of
it.
those
It
fucking
almost makes it
druids.
worse when you whisper it.
I'll tell you what, these fucking druids move into your fucking neighborhood and they steal all the fledglings. So we had to go rescue the fledglings from a fucking mountain cave.
Adam cried at the beginning of the game. Sobbed.
Well, my
He's-
people have been just tread upon by these druids, and I was pissed from the get-go.
Yeah.
So we ventured out. We went to the side of a mountain. There was a rope.
Hold on, I have
bridge.
more
Okay.
opinions on druids.
You can season them throughout. It's like cayenne. You don't want to put too much druid opinion
it's
in your
cumin.
recipe.
No,
No,
who's
the
hat,
druid
you
stuff is
dipshit?
cayenne. It's a different
Cayenne.
spice.
The druids
You
cook
guys need to
with
stay out of the
cayenne.
spice cabinet.
If you haven't
Candy
heard
jokes are cumin. Druid opinions are cayenne.
Andrew's new comedy album, The Druids Cook with Cayenne, is coming out soon. So make sure you check that out. Anyway, you were saying we went to a drawbridge.
We found this mountain hideout. Yeah, there was a rope bridge, and in short order, we were identified as by the
because
bad guys.
Adam. Okay, so in this
Adam
game,
blew his stealth
his cover because you have to
Bro.
roll to see how stealthy you are with the dice, which I forgot about from when I was a kid. So if you're like, I want to fly up there above everybody and stealthily try to look down, you have to roll to make sure you can be stealthy. And Adam just fucked that whole thing up.
Bro, bird's gonna fly. Bird's gonna fly. That's like telling a bard not to sing, okay? I do what I gotta do.
Bing bong. What would my voice sound like? I like to sing the songs of merriment. So you flew up. and you
Anyway,
ruined-
we gained access. Yeah, we gained access to this mountain.
by
hideout.
I want to say killing two flying dog-like creatures with wings.
Kobolds. Yeah, they
yes,
were like
kobolds.
mushroom zombie kobolds.
God,
Yeah.
even
And-
the recap of this game takes for fucking ever.
And then we went inside, and there was like a mysterious forest inside the cave, and we met a dryad. She was actually quite friendly. She had us drink from these multicolored pools at the base of her tree, which gave us.
yeah, that's a.
So
hey,
my
that I
character
thought was
grew
funny.
antlers forever, and Ben's little cat got shrunk down very small. But in a bit of inspiration, Ben changed his voice to sound like
I
small
changed it to
Bing
Bing
Bong.
Bong, which was even more annoying.
And then Adam's-
Peregrine got a Peanuts Charles Schultz caliber storm cloud over his head perpetually.
as if Harlan
Time again.
as if Harlan knew Adam all too well. That was
Yeah.
probably my favorite part of the game, is that you got a storm. And you know what the funny part about this, and I don't want to spoil the rest of the game, but I will tell everybody, that storm cloud did nothing but just follow you over your head.
Just hovered me around the
Yeah.
game.
I was excited to gore someone with my antlers, but it never really came up.
No, all you kept
Um,
trying to do was get me to take a ride on your antlers, which I found
I
creepy.
thought it'd be
that
cool.
You,
This like
No.
little cat shooting
Yeah,
a
but-
crossbow, riding on the antlers. It's
yeah,
not
but you
creepy.
tried it twice, and I was like,
Yeah,
no.
twice.
Bing Bong doesn't want to ride on the antlers.
Yeah, at one point I thought I would do Bing Bong as solid. I was like, can I scoop up Bing Bong as I run past with my antlers? And Harlan was like, if he's cool with it. And Ben's like, no, I don't want to ride on the antlers. I'm sorry. I was trying to save you some movement speed to get onto the boat.
Listen, asking a shrunken cat to ride on your antlers is the oregano of the spice cabinet. You can't do it too many times. It's going to overpower the meal.
I think 2 shakes is fine. I think 2 shakes of oregano. I don't think I overdid it, and I don't think I over seasoned it. So anyway,
what I
yeah, should we
said at the
spoil?
beginning was an apt metaphor. You guys don't have to keep shitting on the fact that I said cumin. You guys. Anywho, so
No,
what's-
we're taking that ball and running with it. So I built my character Gwendolyn Thunderhand. She's a storm sorcerer. I kind of built her around this idea that she got struck by lightning, and that sort of like gave her these storm powers. So I was very excited to use my lightning spell, my most powerful spell. And I finally got the opportunity in the boss battle. I was really selling it up, ready to just blast this boss with some lightning, and I got a critical fail. I rolled a 1.
Yeah,
and
okay.
wasted
So for
my
people who
spell.
don't know, if you roll a 1, that's the equivalent of falling flat
bad.
on your face. And
Totally.
there were, I'm not going to lie, Thunderfist, there were several points throughout this campaign that I wondered what it was you were even doing there. Like you remember you shot like ice at one point and split them into 2, and one just went way far wide of the person because you rolled garbage. It was very frustrating. You were supposed to lead us, Andrew.
No, I disagree, because I was actually, this is where Andrew's expertise came in, because I'm like, you know, Ben, you've played before. Andrew plays all the time. So Andrew would be like, with my move. And then he would do the most elaborate shit that I had no idea. He's like, I'll take a piece of leather out of my bag, and using that leather, I was just like, every time I went, I was like, probably attack. Let's attack. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah, but it was
the
literally your
variety
very
of
first
moves.
time doing it. So that was par for the course. for
Andrew,
sure.
I do agree with that. I'm not saying Andrew doesn't play this game so well. He obviously knows the game very well.
But
and
I
he would
wasn't getting the
constantly-
rolls. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do anything.
My favorite parts were when he would go, like when it was your turn, Adam, and you'd be like, I don't know what to do. And he'd be like,
Why don't you fly up and get a look at
oh, what a helpful old
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah.
Why don't you sneak ahead and have a peek?
It was,
We did
it was,
great though. We did very well.
I will say that was the
Nobody
thing.
got knocked out.
It's because you prepared us. I got like 4 emails. There was one with like a lengthy set of combat tips. and because I had forgot all this stuff. I mean, I hadn't played since I was a lot younger. So we basically went to a second realm through the tree of the dryad, and then that led to an area where there was
yourself
a boat in a pond floating, but there was nothing else around it. And the Drekis was his name, right? Or Decus.
Decus. The bad guy.
He was the
Decus,
bad
the bad
guy,
elf.
the druid, had changed into an elf and was guarding these kids. And we all assumed our roles pretty well.
Yeah, Ben
we-
Ben went invisible and he snuck in and freed the little fledglings. We handled that boss so quickly that I actually thought that was a fake. I thought that was like a phony Decus, and that the real Decus was going to be below deck because we handled him pretty great.
You mean
But
below
Adam
Decus?
was dealing
To
a
be
lot
fair-
of damage. What below Decus? Yeah.
I had also texted you, I need to leave.
Yeah,
I
you
texted
did.
Andrew. So I was like, the game needs to come to a conclusion here soon. And then Andrew sort of put
Well, you
that
hadn't
into
had enough, Adam. It had only been 3.5 hours. That was the thing that I was thinking. Is I was like, if this is ending, this is a very short campaign. It was
But it
truncated
probably went by quickly, right? At least it does for me. I wasn't like, I can't believe this has
listen,
been 3.5
I'm gonna-
hours.
I'm going to be very dead honest. I enjoyed that way more than I thought I did. But after 2 hours, I wanted to stop playing the game. I was done playing the game.
That's just
Which
when
is-
it got exciting.
that, which is saying a lot because you don't like board games. We were talking about this before. You hate that.
I hate board games. I hate games, and this is the ultimate game. Like I don't play games, Andrew, and you know that. I don't play games.
He doesn't.
I don't
No,
play
fucking-
games.
He
What?
also
So
doesn't-
save this for your dating profile, dude.
Come to ACH. I don't play games. I fuck and I get straight to fucking. I don't play these games. But no, so I was like really not wanting to do it, and then 2 hours was about where my goodwill ended. And I had a fun time. We wrapped it up, but I was like, I didn't need the last hour and a half personally. That's just how it is.
So, well, I guess that answers our question right there, Adam, as to whether or not you would ever play Dungeons and Dragons again on your own.
I will never play the game again. But I
Whoa.
will say this.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
No, I just like it's not. I know things about myself, and this is not an area that I
No,
want
yeah,
to
that's
explore.
fine. Yeah.
But I was delighted at the game, and I'm glad that I know more about it. And I texted you this afterwards, but I didn't mean it condescendingly because you spend a lot of time. But I was saying it makes me so happy that kids have this game because I think by and large the stereotype of D&D kids is nerdy kids who don't fit in the popular clique, and they find refuge in Dungeons and Dragons. And it's like it made me so happy that this is there for those kids to let their imaginations go ape shit. It's a cool game that way. I dig it.
Yeah. I mean, my thing, I forgot a lot about it. I had a great time. See, the thing is that even Harlan, I asked Harlan how he got the dude who's playing the DM. I asked him how he got into it, and he was saying that he got into it later on in life because he didn't play as a kid. And I know that that's how it was for you, Andrew. And I know for a lot of people it wasn't. If you grew up in homes where religion was like a big piece of your home life, a lot of people weren't allowed to play. I was allowed to play. I don't know how much I would ever play in the future, only because I think I got that experience like playing years when I was younger. So it's not as new to me. But that being said, if Milo wanted to play, I would 100%, because he's mentioned he does play with people with him. Like if he wanted me to join in and play along, I would have no problem playing along on
Yeah,
a game.
totally.
And because he's wanted to play, he played Magic when he was younger, and then he's always wanted to play D&D. And I would love to have him do that, and it would be fun to join him on that. But as far as
that'd be
me
cool.
playing on
I have
my
games you could jump in on. Yeah.
I think like where Adam makes fun of me a lot about it. I didn't do a lot of like schoolwork when I was that age. I didn't do well in school. So it's like now I'm like really into reading books I didn't read back then. And like, did you know that mocha is not a thing? It's chocolate and coffee. Like I'm still learning. I'm still
What
learning.
books are you reading?
I think
Yeah.
you got a hold of a Starbucks.
Oh,
employee
yeah, the old-
manual. that he's just kind of ripping through.
This is dense. Yeah. He's got his readers on.
Yeah. But I find that reading
a frappe,
and
you say.
reading and intelligence is like garlic. You can feel free to use a lot of it.
As
And
much
it-
as you want,
and it
yeah.
really
Keep
makes
it in
things
there.
so much better.
And if you are using garlic, be sure to tell everyone online how much you're using garlic. Almost as if you're insecure about your garlic use and making up for it.
Well, maybe
What is
somebody
this about?
wasn't allowed to have garlic when they were younger, and he is insecure about it, or he
You
chose
weren't
not
allowed
to have
to
garlic.
read?
This is getting weird. These metaphors.
I was like, wow, your parents were cool. First of all, they let you play D&D, and they forbid you to read?
But anyway, yeah, no. I really do think that that's part of it for me, is that I played for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years when I was younger. And, but it was fun. And like I said, I will definitely be back because Milo's wanted to play and I want to play with him. So,
Well, while I won't be back because it's just not my thing, I found this to be a lot like the jiu-jitsu challenge, and I'm going to be sincere, so blast some sort of siren so the listener can be aware of it. But
hold on a second. Ron, DM Ron, Dungeon Master Ron, could you real quick blare that sincerity siren?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I enjoyed, just like in jiu-jitsu, I enjoyed seeing this part of Ben's world that he's so passionate about and like actually understanding it. Ditto for you, Andrew. Like, it was cool to meet Harlan, who I know you play a lot with, and just see you do these spells expertly and shit. And imagine, I know you play with Jordan Dahl and Aaron Urist, and I can see how fun those games are. So I'm glad I know the language of it. Like, I didn't even understand when people say like +3 or something, and that's like a shorthand joke. I didn't know that came from Dungeons and Dragons. I had no idea. So just, you like learn things that have permeated pop culture.
Yeah. So thank you, Andrew, and thank you to Harlan. And Andrew, you should plug your podcast. 'Cause
Oh, yeah,
you,
yeah. Well, Harlan and I have a streaming Dungeons & Dragons show every Monday night called Better Than Heroes. You can check it out on Twitch. Just plug Better Than Heroes into Twitch. It's Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And then Harlan and I have a podcast where we just chat with dungeon masters, game masters about running these tabletop role-playing game experiences. That's called The Dungeon, and that is launching very soon, and it may or may not be out when you're listening to this. But check out The Dungeon wherever you check out podcasts.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, I think the lesson here is that Dungeons and Dragons is a lot like cinnamon. It's not for everyone.
But 2 hours of it, you can have
And
cinnamon for 2
when
hours.
it's heated up, it can change. When it heats up, it changes the composition of everything. I mean,
But
you lose-
ask yourself, do you need 3.5 hours of cinnamon, and shouldn't you go exercise? Get some natural air outside. It just feels like a lot of cinnamon.
All right. Well, speaking of cinnamon, this comic we have has nothing to do with
Seamless.
cinnamon at all.
Seamless segue, Andrew.
Nailed
Did
it.
you like that?
Yeah.
This is from our live show. This is Canada's own Steph Taleb. And stick around after the break, because when we come back, we're going to reveal next episode's challenge.
Everyone complains about nightmare dating. You guys all have like a nightmare dating story? I can guarantee that what I'm about to say next is worse than you've ever had. Has anybody else ever had a man bite their neck mole off, or is that just me? Am I the only... Yeah, that's what I thought. Everyone's like, it's a nightmare out there. I'm like, is it? Is it really? Okay. I did have a neck mole. Loved it to bits. Looked like a junior mint left in the sun. Had it for years, and so on the one side of my neck, loved her. I really was like, we became one to become one, Spice Girls, and I wanted to get removed as a kid because it was like pretty. It stood out there, and every time I flew around with a guy, they'd go right to the side. I'm like, other side, a lot of reality over here. Anyway, so they'd always go to the side. When he removed, my parents were like, you had an aunt in Bulgaria who had the same one on her forehead. She got her removed and died. I'm like, that's a weird thing to tell an 8-year-old. I don't like this story at all. Weird Bulgarian folktale. I hate this. So I kept it. Hated it. So I matched with a glassblower online. My fault for matching with a glassblower. don't do that. So we're fooling around, light makeout. Clothes are still on, we're having fun. And he starts kissing to the I'm like, you've made eye contact with the mole. Get the hell. So he comes into it a bit harsh, and I'm like, okay. So I give him a little light shove, like, okay, bye-bye, other side. He's like, bites down. Doesn't feel good. Feels quite wet. Feels this is a lot for you. I don't want this to be my life. You need to understand this. You're all very upset. I don't want to be like this. I really don't. Feels quite wet. Don't like it. I go to the bathroom. It's bleeding. I'm like, you have to leave. You need to leave. We're both not talking about it. There's blood everywhere. I'm like, you need to leave right now. This is some reason the worst part to me. We get to the front door, and he's like, really, I have to go? I'm like, well, you're digesting half my mole, asshole. Yeah, get the fuck out of my house. But he takes his hands he takes my hands and puts them around his neck. I'm like, a goodbye choke. What the hell's going on? Like, what is that ever? I'm like, get the hell out of my house. I wake up the next morning, mole's not doing well. Mole's sick. So I have to go to a mole doctor, $400 to get it removed. It was a big deal, I know. But mole money, mole problems, am I right? I feel pretty good about it. Life is a full nightmare, it really is.
All right, we're back. We are back. If you enjoyed this episode,
which how could you not? How could you not? Yeah,
it had it all except for the actual Dungeons and Dragons game. Harlan and I are part of a live play Dungeons and Dragons game with some other stand-up comics: Jordan Dahl, Aaron Urist, Rachel Weeks. Hilarious comics. It's called Better Than Heroes, and we stream it every Monday night, 7 p.m. Pacific. You can check it out at twitch.tv/betterthanheroes. Write it down on your arm right now. It's a lot of fun.
And while we're plugging things, the Grawlix boys, we're going to be doing a comedy show. Can you believe it, dudes? We're going to do a comedy show at Levitt Pavilion, which is an outdoor venue.
Comedy?
And we're going to, it's spaced out and socially distant. So tickets will be going on sale this week for a Grawlix show live at Levitt Pavilion on August 15th. Buy them while they're available.
Wow. Yes. You can also listen and subscribe to our podcast for free anywhere you enjoy podcasts. Give us a rate and review if you're so inclined. Also, check us out on social media at Grawlix Comedy.
And also, if you get a chance, check out our Patreon page. If you haven't been there, it's amazing. If you are wishing this whole time that you could see us actually playing this Dungeons and Dragons game, well, you can. It'll be up on our Patreon page. The entire
adventure's up there.
3.5 hours plus the character creation. Oh my dorkdom, you're going to have so much fun with it. So check it out. And for those of you who are currently supporting us, who are already supporting us, thank you so much. We love you. And, thanks for everything you do for us.
And as always, thank you to Halfling Bard Ron Doyle for producing this podcast. Couldn't do it without you. What a bard you are.
Yeah. What a son of a bard. And as always, our theme music brought to you by the amazingly talented Charlie Continental. So what are we doing next episode? What's the challenge? What are we going to do?
I don't really know. Andrew, what are we doing?
How about we get to know each other from the inside out?
Well, that's intriguing.
No, I don't like this.
Colonoscopies. Yeah, we're getting colonoscopies.
We're not getting colonoscopies.
Tune in next episode and find out.
All right. But, and from the inside out, I want to say this. This is something you both know about me on the inside, that I love saying this more than anything. I mean, this is from the deepest part of myself when I get to say, play us out, Charlie.